Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to La PIÑA ROSA, of course, the show about Deportivo and Palermo. It's fair to say that both Deportivo and Palermo have given myself and Tend here more joy than Newcastle and Tottenham, respectively. So it's always nice to do this show. For a change, I know Depor lost, which obviously we'll talk about, but it's nice to come on here and big up, big up to Scott as well. Yeah, exactly, man. You're gonna love the name of the team that we just played. So if you're still here, Scott, wait until I talk about Virtus Entella. So yeah, you're gonna love that name. But yeah, of course, this show is being streamed on both our channels, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the stream as well, and yeah, 10. Welcome back. How are you? Big up every single time.
Yeah, doing good. Obviously, not going to discuss anything about Newcastle. I know we've done well past two games.
Spurs have a new manager, so
yeah, and all that. But to be honest, I'm not going to say hold that tantrum because I think even you will.
Dantrum's a good villain fan. Big up to Dantrum.
But yeah, overall doing good. I guess obviously not this show with Depor losing. By literally having the opposition have 0.2 xg. But yeah, doing good. Obviously, I saw our draw for the FA Cup. You guys will know what I think of it. Just go on my.
It's rigged. It's so rigged. The FA Cup draw is so rigged.
Oh god!
I don't care what anyone says.
Just so that anyone knows, I would have preferred playing Arsenal. I would have preferred Arsenal away. That's how much I would have preferred. I wouldn't even mind Sunderland away. In the FA Cup, but oh well.
Talk about that on Thursday, I'm sure. So
yeah, and even then, I'm not going to be bothered with that Premier League game. But at least I get to enjoy the Wednesday game against Karabag, and obviously Deportivo doing well. And big up to Anthony too.
Big up to Anthony. This is facts for those that haven't. Seeing as we are talking about an Italian team on this show, obviously Serie B, not Serie A. But for those that haven't seen it. That Inter Juve game, Kalulu, that is the worst decision I've ever seen. Genuinely the worst decision. It was horrendous. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the highlights from Inter Juve.
I still think our referee was worse.
Yeah, just as bad. But I'll tell you, do you want to know something about that ref? There is a link to Palermo because that ref was the same ref that was in charge of the Frosinone incident in 2018, where Frosinone were basically able to get away with cheating and disrupting the game, throwing balls onto the pitch to basically deny us promotion because it was the second leg of the playoff final at their ground. So, yeah, for those that wonder that are kind of new to this show as to why I always, say fuck Frosinone on this show is because, look, it's not a local derby or anything. It's because they, cheat. They cheated. And that same referee from all those years ago, it seems like all those years ago now, from those years ago in 2018, that same referee was promoted to Serie A and he's still fucking over football to this day. And we saw another example of it in the Inter Juve game over the weekend. So for those that know, obviously if there's any other Palermo fans watching, you will know that we have been trying to tell everybody about that referee. For these past few years, now the world is not only waking up to bad refereeing, but they're waking up to him specifically. Yeah, La Pena, that's the one. Federico La Pena. Federico. I think it was a typo. Yeah, Federico. Yeah, La Pena. He's a ref that Palermo fans have been trying to warn everyone about for years, and people are finally realizing. But yeah. Anyway, I guess we will start with Palermo. Of course, guys, please keep getting all your thoughts in the chat about everything we speak about today. As Palermo extend their unbeaten run to 13 games. This is one of the longest unbeaten runs I can remember that Palermo have ever gone on. And we have two games to talk about today. Obviously, we played midweek as well as the weekend. Midweek, obviously not as happy as of course the weekend, considering we did draw 3-3 away at Sampdoria. Sampdoria, who, to be fair to them, are rejuvenated since the signings, the likes of Pierini, who obviously scored in this game, Brunori, who didn't score as much as 10 was praying for it, although he did get an assist, and amongst others as well. They made a lot of signings in January. So Sampdoria, obviously, everybody knows have been, kind of in the shit the last year or so. They have kind of, picked themselves up though, and they're getting away from that relegation zone now. So this was all. I knew that this would be a tough game for Palermo. I knew that, look, despite coming off the back of the Empoli win, I knew that this had the potential to be a banana skin. Considering Sampdoria being rejuvenated, still us, not being the most consistent away from home. I knew that, look, we're going to have to be on it to win this game. And 3-3 is obviously mental. It's mental. And obviously that first half, quite even. We didn't start the game particularly well. As you can see, the lineups here. I'll zoom out there. A couple of changes. Obviously, Dennis Johnson in for his first start for Palermo, which was great to see. Obviously robbed of a fantastic pre-assist, which we'll get into with VAR. But Gomez coming into midfield. You had Magnani start for the first time since his return to the team. Apart from that, pretty much all regular starters here. Obviously, Poyampalo, Palumbo, Pirozzi, all of these guys, Agello. So yeah, and there's Sampdoria. Of course, Brunori with the assist against us. This was a strange game to say the least. Like I said, we should have gone 1-0 up with Pirozzi. 10. I don't know if you saw it, but that goal, we had a goal disallowed for after a dodgy start. I mean, they had the ball in the net, but it was clear offside. We kind of found ourselves into the game. We were slowly but surely growing into it, and we thought we had the breakthrough. But they gave the decision based on a foul in the build-up. For me, one of the softest fouls I've ever seen in my life. I mean, what's really annoying is that Jonsson was robbed of a Rabona pre-assist. I know it's not an assist, but a Rabona pre-assist. He was robbed of it. And I think that goal has to stand simply because it's not a foul, and also because it was one of the best pre-assists I've ever seen, genuinely. And this is Dennis Johnson, of course, who was just signed for Palermo. So, yeah, genuinely a shocking decision from the ref. I have no idea what foul there was. It was really, really soft. I mean, 10, I'm guessing, before I move on, I'll get your thoughts on this. I'm guessing you've seen the incident. I mean, what's your thoughts on the incident? Do you think it was a foul, or are you with me and you think there's nothing in it?
Nah, I don't think it was a foul. I just think it's very minimal contact, I would say. And I mean, I don't know what was with referees this past weekend.
Yeah, it's been, and midweek when you're talking about this game.
Yeah,
horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we should just have ChatGPT or any Grok even. Honestly, we should.
With that decision in this game,
we need technology, but not just technology. We need AI or actual.
We need humanoids. Have you seen the humanoids?
Yeah,
we need them as refs. We need them.
Yeah, and then maybe have the police be the if there's any fights, the police come on to the pitch to separate the teams. It's really annoying how refereeing decisions are now more. They're getting so much more subjunctive. No, not subjunctive. That's the wrong word.
But this wasn't an on-field decision. This was a VAR overturning a goal, which for me was a perfectly good goal. It's soft. The game, if they think that, I'm sorry, for those that haven't watched it, go back and watch it. If they think that that's a foul, then the game's gone soft. I think the game has gone completely soft.
I just think there was minimal contact. So, yeah, maybe Palermo should have taken the lead, but you did.
Should have. We did, yeah. I mean, we did. Obviously, Palumbo, who came back into the team after suspension, who has been the assist king this season. He seems like he's assisting every game. Obviously, takes the set piece, but it is an own goal. Their player, brilliant finish from Abligard. I think is how you say it. Brilliant finish from him. Pretty much on the stroke of half time. And look, we weren't great, albeit we did get better as the half went on. We didn't start particularly well. But we probably deserved to go 1-0 up at the time because we had that goal disallowed. We had some other moments where we could have probably done a bit better. And we did eventually take the lead before halftime. What ended was, look, it wasn't the best half, but it was a half where we had the lead. Now, second half, I don't know. I was saying this after the Empoli game. I know we won the Empoli game, but where has our defense gone? That's now 5 goals in 2 games, and this is Palermo have the best defense in the league. This is extremely rare for us to concede this many goals. We completely fell asleep early doors. We clearly didn't come out correctly. Begic, and Pirini with basically 2 goals within 3 minutes of each other. We got completely split open by Sampdoria. I don't know how we're allowing them that much space. And all of a sudden, we're behind. And this was probably as bad as as starting a half gets. Like, I don't know what we were doing. I don't know what I don't know where the defense that we've seen from Palermo all season was, because this was shocking. Like, and then obviously we don't know how to respond. At that point, we're clearly, obviously we make a couple of changes. Segre comes on to help with the midfield. Gomez coming off. We had Ceccaroni coming on as well. Like, we completely shit the bed for whatever reason early doors, and we didn't know how to respond. And then they went and got their 3rd goal, which I'm like 3-1. Like, we have a mountain to climb. Like, this was for that passage of play from 46 minutes to basically 70 minutes. So 50, 60. So for that half an hour, for that half an hour period, we were absolutely atrocious. And that is for that half an hour or so, that is the worst defensive performance I've seen all season. Genuinely, that is the worst defensive performance I've seen. For that half an hour, we completely forgot how to defend. We were completely all over the place. It actually should have been 4 and 5-1. They had a couple of other chances where they probably should have done a lot better. But somehow, and this is where I give a lot of credit to Palermo. Somehow, we went and rescued a draw. I don't know how we did it, but we decided Agello gets his 1st goal of the season against his former club. And then Ceccaroni with a set piece, another assist for Palumbo this season. Agello, his shot was in off the post. We somehow were able to claw back a draw from this game, and we actually could have won it at the end. Like, Poyampalo had a shot that was blocked, and it looked like it was on target. So we actually could have, shocking for as bad as we were in that second half for a lot of it, we actually could have somehow won this game. And obviously, at 3-1, with the way we were playing, I'm like, we're going to be lucky not to get smashed here. Like, this was, we genuinely didn't wake up after half time. But the fight in this team is something you can't question this season. To keep that unbeaten run going, to somehow salvage a point from literally nothing, Sampdoria will be kicking themselves. I don't know. I really don't know how they let that slip. But this is ultimately the quality of Palermo. We have the players, we have the manager that, when they're on it, they can punish any team in the league in Serie B. It's as simple as that. And obviously the set pieces working for us again. Agello, good to get his 1st goal as well. We salvaged the draw, which, if we're honest, we didn't really deserve, apart from maybe a few moments of good play in that first half. Somehow we dug it out, and I really don't know how. Obviously, look, for a neutral, it's a crazy game. Obviously, very un-Italian-like. If you with a 3-3, if you look, this is Italian football. For those that watch it, there's nowhere near as many chances as there is in Premier League, La Liga. It's a very tactical game, and you have to be very smart with what you do. So this was a bit unusual, this type of game to see, and I don't know how we salvaged the draw, but we did. And it obviously kept our unbeaten run going to 12 games at this point. And ultimately a point that, I did not see coming. And thankfully, we were also helped out by Monza, or not Monza drawing to Südtirol. Venezia, shockingly, this is probably the surprise result of the game week. Venezia losing to Modena at home, which nobody saw coming with the form. 7 straight wins going into it. Nobody saw it coming. Modena walking away from Venice with a 2-0 win. The only one, unfortunately, that gained ground on us was Frosinone, who, you're smiling, of course. Yeah, they beat Avellino. But, at the same time, look, we got away with it. We didn't let, 2 of the teams that we're competing with for those top 2 spots pull away from us. We let Frosinone do so, unfortunately. But at the same time, that point, it was. I did not see it coming whatsoever. And look, it is what it is. We dug ourselves out of a hole that I didn't think was possible. But my criticism is that we should never have been in that hole in the first place. What we were doing at the start of that half, I will never know. And it was clearly, I don't know if it was complacency or it was a loss of concentration. I have no idea what it was. Loss of concentration. I don't know. But the way we came out, that can't happen again. And that's ultimately what cost us this game. Like that first period of the second half was absolutely atrocious. Like we were getting ripped open in ways that I haven't seen us get ripped open since probably like the bad period of form we had during October. So this was, from a defensive point of view, definitely not good enough whatsoever. But like I said, the fight, you can't question it. And if we're going to get promoted this season, this is what it's going to take. You need players that have grit about them. You need a mentality like this. And that's what I am seeing from Palermo. That's what Inzaghi has installed in us this season. So hopefully it's, even though we didn't win, it's results like this, the fight backs, that actually are the reason we potentially finally get over the line this season and get promoted. That sort of element to it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, not the best result. We were like I said, fortunate that a couple of other results went our way midweek, but it was frustrating because we didn't gain any ground on the teams above us. And, you know, obviously this past weekend we won, but then they won as well. So, you know, eventually we're going to have to capitalize on those teams dropping points eventually. So it's just about whether we can do that. And if those teams can, I mean, we still got to play all three of them away from home, which is obviously a worry for us. But yeah, 10. Obviously a crazy game. I'm pretty sure you saw the highlights. What's your thoughts on the game and also the result away at Sampdoria for Palermo?
Yeah, I think overall, really fun game to watch. At least it was a lot more fun than for you watching Spurs.
On the same day, yeah, way better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not the desired result for Palermo, but I did say in my prediction that Sampdoria can turn up and win, and I think they should have won, I'll be honest, this game, even if Palermo had the lead and then got 2 goals to finish the game as a draw. But I think overall for Palermo, I mean, the 30 minutes from the start of the second half till just before you scored the second goal to make it 3-2, I think that was not the best performance. Obviously, you concede 3 goals in that period, 2 in 3 minutes. And
it's only the second time we've conceded 2 or more goals this season in any game. Yeah,
so, and it kind of shows that, you know, because also in the previous game before it was Empoli 3-2. So when you think about it, 2 games, 5 goals conceded.
Which is crazy because our defense has obviously been like untouchable this season. And it's just, I don't know what, because what's weird, do you know what, I find this really strange because we've obviously just got back Magnani, who I would say is who was definitely our best defender last season. We've just got him back, and then we've got him back and we're conceding it doesn't add up. We've added a top defender, or re-added, should I say, because he was already our player. But you know, it just doesn't make sense. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, and I think overall it wasn't a good. This was probably the worst performance in terms of like basically the 13-game stretch of being unbeaten more or less. So I think this is probably a game that you should have lost. This was probably the closest, I think.
Yeah, we should have lost. 100%. We should have lost this game.
Yeah, and I think overall it's just, you know, to get the fight back, to make it 3-3 in the end. I was a bit gutted because, you know, I wanted to see your tears twice, even though, yes, a draw is not really tears, but still. But I do think to have that sort of comeback near the end of the game showed a bit of character to continue the unbeaten one at the time to make it 12, and obviously eventually make it 13 in the next game. So good
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously Sampdoria, they've been rejuvenated. Since the transfer market, they've obviously made a lot of good signings. We were playing them at a bad time, it's fair to say. And even then, we still, from a position of like, you know, no hope, we were still 20 minutes to go, we're 3-1 down. Somehow we salvaged the draw. Obviously, Ceccaroni with the header from the free set piece in stoppage time. And we actually could have, it was crazy. We actually could have even won it after that moments later, which would have been probably the most insane comeback I've ever seen if that was to happen. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. We did draw, albeit thankfully a couple of teams around us also dropped points. But like I said, eventually we are going to have to capitalize on it for sure. But in terms of our next game, obviously, like I said, this was midweek. It was a double game week this week in Serie B. Next up, we, of course, faced Virtus Entella. Virtus Entella at home. Entella are, of course, a newly promoted team this season who... They're one of these teams where away from home and at home, they're two completely different teams. At home, they actually have, despite, not being at the right end of the table, they actually do have a very good home record. But away from home, they've really struggled. I haven't checked, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like the worst, first or second worst team away from home in the league this season. And Palermo, as I predicted, I said 3-0. I said we'd win this game comfortably. And that is exactly what happened. 3-0 over Virtus Entella, back to winning ways, back to clean sheet ways. That is now 7 straight home wins. That is the first time we've done that, I believe, since 2009, which I think we were in Serie A. I'm not too sure. And then the time before that was, I think I read this right. It was 1959. 1959, which was, we were in Serie B. So it kind of hit a bit of history being made. I mean, 7 straight home wins in this unbeaten run is extremely impressive. And like I said, if we're going to go up, our home form is going to be massive. And I can't remember, look, before Empoli, the last time we conceded a goal at home, I think was Monza, potentially, all the way back in October. So, unless I've got that completely wrong, which I might have. But basically, we have a very good home record. And this was no different. Entella, like I said, away from home have not been good. And Palermo won this game reasonably comfortably. In terms of the lineup, a couple of things, obviously the back three, Ceccaroni comes back in. Interesting that Berensinski came in ahead of Pera and Magnani. He started this game. Segre coming back into midfield. Leduron, interestingly, instead of Jonsson, despite I think Jonsson had obviously on his first start against Sampdoria, I thought had a really good game. So interesting that he put Leduron back in. Obviously, there's Entella's lineup as well. Our former player, Ivan Marconi, left centre back for them. So good to see him back at Palermo. But yeah, this game, reasonably comfortable. I didn't think we were actually amazing. Obviously, we scored within like 4 minutes from a corner. Who else but Poyampalo? Like, Poyampalo is that guy. Like, this guy is the top scorer. This guy is incredible. Like, this guy is... yeah, it's rare when it's kind of like when he doesn't score, it's unusual at this point. It's not normal for him not to score. So Poyampalo with yet another goal, this time a good header from a corner. Ranocchia with, after that, I thought we got a bit fortunate. We kind of dropped back. I think we dropped a bit too deep for what I would like to see. We kind of invited them on a bit too much. Joronen had to make a couple of saves. Obviously, they had quite a few corners. So, honestly, yeah, after we went 1-0 up, probably dropped a bit too deeper than I would have liked to have seen. But nevertheless, the defense, was there for us. And we got the second goal, probably at the perfect time because Entella were definitely growing into the game. And we definitely had to be a bit careful. But Ranocchia with his goal, a very strange goal because it was obviously a shot from, just inside the box. Keeper saves it, but then it bounces below. It's kind of weird. He saves it. And then it bounces up and then he saves it, but the ricochet bounces into the net. It's a really weird goal. Like, it's not a goal that I've seen very often or if ever in football. So, yeah, strange goal, but nevertheless, we take it. Ranocchia with a goal just before half-time, the perfect time to score. I think that's what killed the game, ultimately. I think 1-0, obviously, Entella are still in it. But 2-0, with their away record, I knew that we had it. At 2-0, I knew that look, we've got the game locked down. And then, look, perfect start to the second half. Pirozzi with a brilliant volley. Definitely a great goal for him. Obviously, ball over the top. I think it was Palumbo. Yeah, Palumbo with another 2 assists in this game. So he's really kind of the playmaker for us this season. And Yeah, Pirozzi with a great finish. Thankfully, this time his goal wasn't robbed like it was against Sampdoria. But 3-0, job done. Should have been 4-0. Poyampalo thought he scored, but they disallowed it, I think, for a foul or something. But that point, we had the game under control. I think Entella, to be honest, we were a bit sloppy. Look, I'll be honest. I didn't think we were amazing in this game. Like I think what happened was we did enough and we had the quality over Entella. Like that's what happened. I think again, after we went 3-0 up, we just kind of sat back. We didn't really kind of we completely took our foot off the gas. And look, Joronen there was one save he made was really good. Overall, probably would like to have seen us have a bit more control of this type of game, but nevertheless, 3-0, the quality, I think, pulling through in this game, and an important 3 points. Like I said, if we're going to get in that top 2, these are the kind of games we have to be winning consistently. And 3-0, like I predicted 3-0. Reasonably comfortable, like I said, not the most convincing 3-0 in the world, to say the least. They had probably a couple too many chances for what I would have liked in this kind of game, especially at home for us. But nevertheless, comfortable win, 3-0, and back on track. And the unbeaten run extended to 13 games. And it was a shame that, like I said, the teams around us all won. Monza getting fucking lucky as they are in most games the last few weeks, it seems like. And Venezia. I mean, Venezia bounced back emphatically, beating Cesena 4-0, and then Frosinone with a game that I expected them to win against Spezia. So, Ten, your thoughts on Palermo's 3-0 win over Virtus Entella, and 13 games unbeaten now. The unbeaten streak goes on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was this one's much better result. I think I also said 3-0. If I'm not mistaken.
Three goals, 3 shots on target. We were very clinical in this game.
Yeah, but I think the game was over at once it was 2-0, I would say, or at halftime. I think overall, I just think that Virtus Entella didn't offer that much in terms of like being able to threaten Palermo once it became kind of apparent that it was going to be like 2-0 and then 3-0 eventually. But yeah, I think overall it was a good performance from Palermo compared to the last game. Clean sheet, technically. So you're the joint best defense with Modena. So yeah, I think it is pretty important for Palermo, especially considering how the table looks now.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, an important win. A game we had to win. As you can see with the table, still going strong, still pretty much, I think, the same amount of distance of points from the last show, actually.
More or less.
4 points from Frosinone from second, 3 points from Monza in third, and 5 points from Venezia. So, look, the race goes on. It's as simple as that. The race goes on. My worry, I said this earlier, but my worry is that I looked at the fixtures of the 3 teams above us. For Frosinone, it's much more favorable than us. And for Venezia and Monza, not, kind of similar to ours, albeit they still have to play each other as well, which will obviously be interesting. But for us, the problem, this is where my worry comes in terms of top 2. My worry is that we haven't won one of those big games this season. We've already played the top 3 at home this season. We're at home. Look, we've been very strong at home. But we drew to Venezia 0-0, drew to Frosinone 0-0, and obviously had that terrible game against Monza, which was during our worst moment of the season. So we've got to go to all 3 of them away from home. And like I said, we've struggled in the really big matches this season. And like I said, we've played the 3 above us at home and haven't won. So if we're with the consistency of the top 4, we're gonna have to beat these teams away from home. We're going to have to go to these places and win because, like I said, these teams are just as consistent as us. Usually, obviously, they're above us. Big up to Helvidus, I think it is. Look up Pescara. Yeah, I mean, Pescara, that's a game coming up for us as well, actually. They did just beat Avellino. So they are off the back of a victory there, luckily for them. But yeah, it's definitely close. We're still very much in the mix, but we're gonna have to. I think when we play these teams, we're gonna have to win. I think that's the way I see it. If we keep, like I said, if we keep the consistency going, keep this unbeaten run going, obviously draw less games and turn some of these draws. Look, if I'm honest, right, what's costing us right now more than those teams that we've played? I think of Avellino and I think of Mantova because we should have won both those games. Obviously, we gave up 3 points in the latter stages of both of those games. Obviously, Avellino, we were 2-1 up, drew 2-2 late on. Mantova, that one was ridiculous because Mantova, we should have won comfortably. 1-0 up, obviously conceded a wonder strike in the last minute. That's the that's the frustrating thing for me is that if we had just kind of, if those two games had just gone in the way they should have gone, we'd be sitting here we'd be sitting inside the top two. We'd be level with Frosinone right now, and we'd be above Monza. So that's the frustrating. I'll be honest, I'm more frustrated at the Avellinos and the Mantovas than I am at the games against Frosinone, Venezia, and even Monza. Even though that's one of our 3 losses this season was to Monza. So the table, look, we're in the race, no doubt about it, but we're gonna have to start climbing soon. And hopefully in the weeks ahead we can do that. As long as we keep going, I'm hopeful the teams above us that eventually they're going to start dropping some points, especially I think Monza. I think they are due some points dropped with some of their, they've got a few lucky wins lately. So I think Monza are definitely due to drop some more points, but we'll have to see. But yeah, 10, your thoughts on the automatic promotion race in Serie B?
Yeah, I still think it'll be between 2 of the 4 right now, the top 4 competing for the top 2. I do think that obviously with Palermo having 13 games unbeaten, or Palermo actually going to go for 20, 25 games unbeaten. And I'll be honest, just from probably not Virtus Entella, but even, sometimes a bit Virtus Entella, but, the past few games, you used to be the best defense. Now you're the joint best defense.
Joint with Modena, interestingly.
With Modena and just a goal ahead of Monza. So I do think that it's good to have consistency of not losing, but I feel like there might be a game or a time or whatever whereby Palermo might drop all 3 points. It might not be the upcoming game, probably, but when you go away to one of the top 3 or a team
that's my biggest for the rest of the season. Yeah. That's my biggest worry. It's us having to play the top 3 away from home. That's my biggest worry.
You could basically go unbeaten for the remainder of the season, but lose all 3 of the top 3 teams, and you don't get automatics because Venezia, one of your favorites, Frosinone and Monza, are going to, probably just match what Palermo do.
That's basically the problem. Like, we have to win more games than them. We can't match them. We have to win more, and that would include beating all 3 of them away from home.
Or at least 1 or 2, yeah. So I think, do I think Palermo could continue the 13 games unbeaten? They can extend it. Maybe they make it 14 or maybe even 15. But what happens once, because I do think it will come, because just from the Empoli, you can see 2, the Sampdoria, you can see 3. Virtus Entella, they did have
some chances. They did.
And imagine if they take those chances and you don't. Maybe.
To be honest, against Entella, I still think we win the game because at the end of the day, look, I was saying we weren't scoring enough. We're scoring goals now. Like we are scoring goals. Like we're a lot more clinical now. So it's just about maintaining that defense.
Yeah, and it's all about making sure that you continue to score goals and keep a hold of that defense. So who knows? Maybe you actually continue the unbeaten run. Which technically started with Virtus Entella, and is
draw. Yeah, that was during our really bad
period. And now that you've played Virtus Entella, it seems quite a nice butterfly effect, or whatever you want to call it. Pattern.
So we start the unbeaten one with Entella and end it with Entella. Is that what you're saying?
Well, kind of, yeah. But we'll see with your upcoming game.
Yeah, like I said, look, in terms of the promotion race, we just got to keep going. We just got to put everything on the line. We just got to keep getting results. And hopefully, come the end of the season, we find ourselves in the top 2. If not, we're going to at least be in those. I'm very confident. There's a 7-point gap between us and Catanzaro. We're going to be in the seeded playoffs. So we're going to already be through to the playoff semifinals. Obviously, in that
you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're definitely in the playoffs. I'm just saying that I'm pretty certain we're going to be through to the semi-final stage as well. Not in the preliminary round, which is 5th to 8th. So, yeah, and even then in the playoffs, look, we have to back ourselves. We have to go for it because I'm going to say, I know it's easy for me to say this, and people might be like, oh, they're in Serie A. Why are you trying to say this? But Cremonese, they drew their way to promotion last season. I can tell you this for a fact. Obviously, Cremonese were a lot better than we were last season. However, Palermo this season compared to Cremonese last season, we are much better. We are levels. I don't care what people say. We are way better than Cremonese this season than they were in Serie B last season. They basically drew their way to promotion. They drew their way. They just kind of snuck into Serie A. And they're doing all right. Look, they got Vardy now and stuff. So they're doing all right. They're probably, I think they're probably going to stay up. But if they can do it, we have to back ourselves, And I know I was like, oh, these bums somehow got promoted last season. But it's true. Like when I watch Palermo, not just Palermo, I'll put Monza in there as well. When I watch Palermo, Monza, I think both are much better than Cremonese were last season, if I'm being honest. I think if Cremonese of last season were in this league, I don't think they're near the top 4. I think they're kind of near 6th, 5th, 7th, around that area. So I don't know. It's really tough to say. I mean, like I say, if we get in that top 2, fantastic. But then if we have to go through the playoffs, it's going to be hard. But we have to do it. We have to just and that's where we're going to have to win a big game. Whether that's in the semi-final against Catanzaro, Monza, Juve Stabia, whoever that is, and then if we get maybe the final, which will probably be against Monza, I would say Monza or Frosinone. So we have to do it. I mean, yeah, man, Palermo got to get promoted this season. I say it every show, but this has to be the year. What's interesting as well is that Inzaghi, I saw a stat. It compared Inzaghi at Pisa last season to Palermo this year. Inzaghi, obviously manager of Pisa last season, after 25 games, had 53 points, which was the same as Venezia. Obviously, we're on 48 points, so we're actually 5 points less. However, that can change within a week. I don't know what Pisa's result was on game week 26. And if we win, obviously then it will go to 2 points if they lost. So, yeah, there's that stat. But I think the difference with last season is the top 2 was secured from quite early on. Sassuolo, who I said already should never have been in Serie B, ran away with it, as they should. Berardi and Loriente in that league is a cheat code. So they ran away with it. And then Pisa, which was the surprise, but they still had, at this point, they had, I think, a 6-point buffer from 2nd to 3rd. So this year, it's very different. This year, it's a lot tighter. There's 4 teams that could finish in that top 2. So, yeah, kind of any other thoughts, Ten, on kind of obviously last season compared to kind of the promotion race and everything?
I wouldn't say it's at least exciting this season than last.
Yeah.
In terms of who gets top 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be nice if we had kind of been in the same position as Sassuolo last season. That would have been good.
Oh, well.
I never expected that.
I wonder why the GOAT, Dionisi.
No, I'm saying I wish we could be this season Sassuolo is my point.
Yeah.
But look, I'll be honest. I know I did predict us to get top 2. However, I never thought we would run away with it. I knew we'd be in a race for sure. But yeah, that is the promotion battle in Serie B. As we do, let's talk about our upcoming game. We face Südtirol at home, and Südtirol, which is obviously when we played them away from home, 1-2-0. I did talk about it. That for both sets of fans going to Palermo fans going to Südtirol, Bolzano, and those fans coming to Palermo, it is one of the longest away days in Europe because Bolzano, where basically Südtirol is, they are on the border with Austria. They are literally a border. They're almost like a border town with Austria. And Palermo is obviously in Sicily. So it is literally the longest away trip for whichever fan base is going to whoever's at home. Basically, it's basically the longest away trip. So it's a long trip for Südtirol to come to Palermo. Südtirol, they're actually on good form. They went through a bit of a bad period. Abruzzo. Yeah, I've seen Abruzzo. I've never been, but I've seen it. It's nice. It is nice.
I don't know.
But Südtirol, they just beat Bari 2-1. Who Bari are going down. I can tell you that they are awful. But they just drew to Monza 0-0 at home. They're actually unbeaten in their last 7 games, and they've only lost 1 in their last 10. So Südtirol are on very good form. Obviously, they went through a bad period earlier on. They were close to the relegation zone, but now they've really pushed themselves up into ninth. Still 4 points behind the playoff spots, but they've really come a long way. They were sitting 15th, 16th not so long ago, and they've gone on this run. So this will not be an easy game. This is definitely going to be a much tougher game than Virtus Entella was. We're playing kind of like Sampdoria. We're playing another team at probably the wrong time, if I'm honest. They are in quite good form. But we're at home, and I back us at home always. 7 straight wins at home. We got to continue that. Südtirol will be hard to break down. They're quite good defensively. They haven't over the last few games they haven't conceded many goals. But I have to back Palermo. I have to back us. Obviously, we won 2-0 in Bolzano. I think only like the 3rd game of the season or so. I think it will be a tough. Yeah, I think it will be a tough. I think they're obviously in better form than they were back then. So I think this will be quite a close game, if I'm honest. I think that we have to definitely defend better than the last couple of games. Obviously against Empoli and Sampdoria. I say we win 2-1, but this will be close. I think the home advantage will hopefully push us over the line. So, yeah, I'm going to say 2-1. Again, another game we should be winning. Another game that, like I said, if we want automatic promotion, these are the kind of games we have to win consistently. And this is no different. So, listen, it will be a tough game. They're in good form, but, so are we. We're unbeaten in 13. And I hope that these players, obviously Inzaghi, hopefully they come out, in the right way. They back themselves, and we can get another win on the board at home. So I'm saying 2-1, quite a close game, but I think I'm hoping the quality will be the difference again. So yeah, I think we do it. What's your prediction?
I would say actually when you said they're unbeaten in 7, that's 5 wins, 2 draws, and they only conceded 3 goals. And actually, all seven games were this year, 2026. Oh yeah.
Big up to Dan. I'm a Juve fan. Nice. Juve.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys were robbed against Inter yesterday.
Yeah.
So I feel for you. That was a horrible referee. Yeah. Big up to Dan every single time.
But yeah, Südtirol, I think I'm not sure if I said this at the start of the season that they might be a surprise package team. I mean, it looks like they're finally getting back up to what I kind of predicted them to be. We will answer this
Thursday. That will be talked about on. Don't worry, I have a lot to say on Thursday for the Year of the Bird.
Yeah. So that will be on Thursday, this Thursday, 19th of February, 11:30 a.m. UK time on Thursday. So yeah, we'll make sure to remember that. But for Südtirol's game away at Palermo, as I said, haven't lost a game in 2026, just like Palermo. So in a way, you could say it could end in a draw just because, well, to keep both unbeaten ones going. But I do think that with the away form Südtirol had, actually, they only lost 2 games away from home this season. However, they've only won 2 games away from home this season.
They're a draw FC.
Especially away. So, and Palermo, they do draw a lot of games. So,
yeah, that's my worry. This has the potential to be like one of those stupid draws. I just hope not.
And I'll be honest, you know what? Just to keep both set of fans happy, saying, oh, they have an unbeaten run in 2026, I'm going 0-0. No,
No.
I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1
1-1
between the two sides. Just
I'll be honest, it definitely this definitely has the potential to be a bit of a banana skin, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But the difference is I said Sampdoria was, but we're at home this time. And I think our home form, clearly we've seen this season, is a big factor.
Yeah. The only thing is they've only lost 2 games away.
They have, and that was to Juve Stabia and Venezia. I've just seen it here.
Oh, they lost to the best team right now. And what is it? A team of mafias. More or less.
By the way, I watched it. They should have got something out of Monza. Their keeper just gifted them.
It's probably from the mafia. They concede.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't know if Juve Stabia are gonna have any punishment come at end of the season or anything. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of that, so we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, it will be quite a tough game. Like a little bit with the last few games defensively, a little bit nervous, if I'm honest. I just hope again, I'm feeling it will be one of these games where I think we'll have enough quality to get over the line, and I think that will hopefully be the difference. So yeah, I'm going for a close 2-1 in this game. I think that pretty much concludes the Palermo segment of the show. Palermo knocking on the door still for those automatic promotion spots as we extend our unbeaten run to 13 games. So let's keep it going. But moving on. Let's talk about Deportivo. Of course, 10, your team. You took on Castellón this weekend in a top of the table clash. And unfortunately, it was another big game, just like against Santander recently, where Depor came unstuck. Albeit, as you mentioned earlier briefly, I don't think I don't think Depor entirely deserved to lose, because I'll show you the stats.
Look at the XG.
0.23 XG, and they scored. They won 2-0.
Two bangers
to me, but still, it's just annoying. But at the same time, anyway, I'll leave it to you. What's your thoughts on? Obviously, not a good result. You've lost ground on the automatic promotion spots, but a game that could have definitely gone another way. But what's your thoughts on the performance and the result?
Yeah, obviously not a great performance. I do think we deserve at least maybe something from the game, but the fact that literally the 2 goals we conceded were from outside the box, really good shot.
By the way, 2 really good goals. I'll give it to them. But still,
But come on, how I wouldn't say unlucky, but they did take their chance from outside the box to obviously score the 2 goals. Camera in the first half, and then Calatrava in the second half. I think once the second goal went in, I think it was game over, just because the fact that you can see 2 long-range efforts in the same game, kind of says it all. And by technicality, if I'm not mistaken, we've only kept 1 clean sheet since the start of November, which was the Leonessa game, which we could have easily drew. So, yeah, overall, not a great result. And I'm kind of getting suspiciously worried with the new goalkeeper, Frello, I'll be honest, because, he's come in since the start of January, only kept 1 clean
Fernandez.
Yeah, he's only kept 1 clean sheet against Leonessa, but he's conceded every game. Long-range efforts, pretty, I wouldn't say easy goals, but still conceded goals, If we, Deportivo, want to get into the top 2 by the end of the season, we have to start keeping clean sheets now. It's not good just having 1 clean sheet since the start of November or something or December. Actually, I think it's December. It's 2.5 months and we've kept 1 clean sheet in the Segunda, so that's not great at all. And I do think, to be honest, I think a little bit is, I just don't think Frello or Fernandez is helping us overall. I would say, okay, maybe because the first goal, Camara's goal in the 10th minute, long range effort, it was reachable, obviously a really good strike, but it's near post, sometimes you don't get beaten by the near post, even if it's a good strike, And then the second one, he was so slow to react to the Calatrava goal. Like it was just like he was caught out by surprise, I would say, the second goal. And he just didn't react whatsoever until, it was practically, too late, He would have to have been like, Spider-Man or something to be able to get the second or to stop the second goal from happening. So I'll be honest, I just don't like, we signed him since like the start of January, kept one clean sheet in the Segunda this season since he joined. I don't know. I to be honest, this is what I say. I think I said 1 or 2 shows ago. I think just bring back Herman Palermo, the goalkeeper at the first half of the season. Because he's only played.
Yeah, why did you guys change goalkeepers? Like, did he get injured or like did it? What happened?
No.
Like,
I just think we thought Fernandez just offered more experience, I guess. Because I mean, we kind of expected to be in the top 6, you could say, but maybe to secure the automatics, maybe bring in a better goalkeeper. But then, we've only kept one clean sheet in the league since he joined, which was the Leonessa game, which we could have easily have not won. That was won by the last minute penalty by Yeremai. And, Yeremai in this game, he was all right, but didn't offer too much. But that kind of shows, like, are we just becoming Yeremai FC, in a way whereby if Yeremai is not contributing, then, the rest of the team is not. There's been 1 or 2 players dropping off, like Zakaria, the center forward, has really dropped off. He's becoming like Nick Voltemade, Yeah,
he had a really good purple patch early on in the season.
Fernandez hat trick and all that.
Yeah.
But now, he's not. Actually, now when I think about it, I have to remember when was the last time he scored, a goal, or at least like a significant goal in the league. Like, oh my God, like he hasn't scored this year. Let me find the last time he scored. The last time he scored, coincidentally, was Albacete, but that was November. And the one before was Leonessa, also in November, the 3-0 win. That was the last time he had like a very good game contributing. And then Samano, which I don't really count. So when you think about it, actually, since the start of October, let me count how many goals Zakaria has scored in the Segunda. So I'm not counting the Samano game.
I'll be honest, right? Militieri, who you guys got from Sassuolo, and he's not really been doing it this season.
Yeah, and now I just counted Zakaria since the start of October. So at that time, I was what? I was 26. Since I turned 27, Zakaria in the Segunda has scored a grand total of 3 goals.
So drop off, yeah, because he was good at the start of the season.
Yeah, he was one of the top scorers at the end of September. But since then, he's only scored 3 goals, and he's not really contributed that much. And you can't really say, oh, he just doesn't get enough minutes. Like most games, like at least like since January, he's played at least like around 60 to 70 minutes, but he doesn't offer that much. So that's why we would sub him off. So he's been starting most games and just doesn't score. Whereas obviously like teams like Santander or Castellón or even the teams around us do have goal scorers in their team, especially like a center forward. So I just think goalkeeper, I think we have to change. I think we have to do something with Zakaria. Like maybe it's now time to start Militieri. Maybe it's something like that we have to do because
Militieri hasn't really started for a while. So
yeah, but I think
maybe it's time to bring him back in.
Yeah, that's what I think because he did score more. He at least scored in 2026. That's the thing. Whereas Zakaria has yet to score in 2026, and everyone's already celebrated Valentine's Day. So yeah, just not good both goalkeeper and the center forward position. And yeah, we've won a few games here and there, like the Almeria game, Leonessa, Albacete. But we've kept one clean sheet since the start of December. Zakaria has only scored 3 goals since the start of October. So if we concede, that means we have to score at least 2 goals to win. And I just as I'm speaking, and please hold on, Sociedad B at the moment all winning
against Malaga, yeah, which obviously would help you guys kind of stay above them. But yeah, look, I mean, obviously, look, wasn't the greatest performance, also wasn't the worst, but like you guys just got undone by 2 moments of quality from Castellón, who, as you can see here, are who have climbed to top of the table.
First time this season, because Santander lost.
And it's fair to say, look,
what a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that Castellón have been the surprise of the season.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think anybody expected them to be there.
Yeah. I mean, the only not surprising result of the weekend is Santander. I told Santander.
You said they lose to Eibar. Yeah, you said they lose.
Yeah, they lost to Eibar, and guess who we play next? But Santander are the Arsenal of the Segunda.
Yeah, they've bottled the last 2 seasons. They've really bottled promotion.
They bottled well, they finished I think 7th or 8th 2 seasons ago, so that means they missed out on the playoff. And then last season they lost to Mirandes, who obviously, as you know, you can't even see them on your screen right now because they lost 7-4 on aggregate, Santander, if I remember. And then obviously this season, I mean, it would be the most Santander thing whereby the entire season they're in the top 2, and then by the end of it they are in the playoff, and then maybe don't get automatic promotion. So yeah, I just think that the table right now, and I hope it stays the result right now, Sociedad B beating Malaga. But that's the thing with Deportivo now, is that we can't rely on Sociedad B.
Yeah, I mean, you're 4 points from second. You're now 4 points.
But obviously, with head-to-head, if we finish on the same number of points.
But also, you're just 3 points from 9th, which is crazy. This is the Segunda Division compared to Serie B. It's completely different because the table, you can literally go from 3rd to 10th in this league. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think overall, we just need to kind of stop being consistent in terms of either it should be either goal scoring or not conceding goals, I would say. I think as long as if we can keep back-to-back clean sheets, that would be a good start. Even if those games ends 0-0 and 0-0 in the 2 games, because I just think that we have to start getting results in our favor, either defensively or start smashing teams 4-1, 5-1.
I mean, you see here, I think with Depor, kind of what's been happening recently, you guys are just very inconsistent. You can't get a consistent run of wins like you did back in October time.
Yeah.
You're struggling for consistency.
Yeah, when you think about the last 5 games there, guess where those 2 losses came from? First and second.
And that's kind of what's put you guys into 4th when you were, could have been 2nd, 1st.
Yeah, to be honest, I think if we had won, against 1st and 2nd place teams right now, we would be 1st place, actually. So it kind of shows that this is why I said, I mean, overall, I did expect at the start of the season playoff. But
it's just frustrating because it's so close. It's really close. It can go either way, but you guys just kind of missed the real opportunity. And these sort of the last couple of big games has kind of really cost you from being in the top 2.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Castellón, we lost both games home and away. Santander, we lost both home and away. Okay, Almeria, we've picked up 4 points out of 6, beat them away, draw at home. Las Palmas got a draw. We will play them, I think, in April or May. Malaga, if you remember, was our first loss, 3-0. So when you think about it, the top 6, So the 5 teams there, we've only picked up 1 win in, I think that's 7 games I'm talking about, 6, 7, I'm not sure. But that's 1 win in 7 games against teams in
Six, seven.
in the top 6,
Huh.
I would say. So, we have to start improving, but we also have to start winning games against teams like we had back when we lost to Andorra and Sociedad B, even though I want Sociedad B to win by the end of this show. 77th minute is 2-1 still against Malaga, but can't rely on certain teams and all that, have to get the job done. So I think overall it's really important. I mean, I know right now we do have still the best away record, but it didn't matter in this one away at Castellón.
Still, yes, but home record obviously is another
Down there.
15th for home form. That is bad. That is bad for you.
I mean, obviously we've only played 12 home games, which is one of the lowest amount of games at home, because every other team's played 13 or 14. But that kind of means that we have an opportunity when we do get the home games, like Eibar coming up soon. We have to get the results. But yeah, 8 points separate first to ninth. Not as close as the Polish league, but yeah.
What's the Polish league like?
Oh, like Legia Warsaw or relegation zone, but then like first or second place, it's like goal difference, and like
that's mad.
To be honest, the Polish league has improved a lot, and that's why if you remember, I said Jagiellona Białystok to make the Conference League final.
Yeah, you're right. Legia Warsaw are second bottom. That's mad. Yeah. And then you've got Jagiellona top, but it's like they're on 36 points. They're only 6 points above 8th. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're the team that I said to make the Conference League final, if you remember. But overall, I said a Polish team could actually make the Conference League final this season. So
that's mad.
Even if it's not Jagiellona, if it's one of the other 2 Polish teams that are in the Conference League knockouts, if they make the final, I'll take that as a win for me, because I did say a Polish team could make a Conference League final, considering there were like 4 teams in that competition, and Legia Warsaw are the only ones not in it. But yeah, in terms of Deportivo, the home form has to improve, and obviously our next game's at home, but we have to start not just winning games.
I mean, you're still in the race. Like 4 points, it's the same as Palermo. It's the same. Like it can be, especially I'll be honest, right? With La Liga 2, there is more kind of like, the teams around you, I think, are more likely to drop points than in Serie B. However, the way it's going, Deportivo are less consistent than Palermo are in Serie B. So it kind of evens out in that sense. Like you're inconsistent, but the rest are inconsistent. But then with us, we're consistent, but then the rest are also consistent. So that's kind of the differences with the 2 leagues, really.
Yeah, and I think, the sort of good thing is that hopefully, these results against, Santander and Castellón in the last 5 games kind of shows that there's still a lot of work to do. And that's kind of why I said we don't get top 2 by the end of the season, but hopefully the playoffs. And as I said, when you think about it, our only 2 losses in the Segunda since the start of the new year were against, first and second place. So when you think about it, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it could have been better, I would say. But, we have to start picking up results in our next few games, because now, when you think about it, since the start of the new year, we've played Castellón, we've played Santander, we've played Almeria.
You have had a tough. Like if I give Deportivo some breathing room, you guys have had a tough schedule in the last few games. That's for sure. Big up to Barrow as well.
I think now, I do say our fixture list from now till maybe like March, like maybe end of March or something, is a lot more favorable. And not this coming weekend, but in about 2 weeks from now, it is going to be Castellón taking on Santander, which means there's an opportunity for Deportivo to maybe get back into it.
I'll tell you on Baran, you're here on Thursday. I'll tell you on Thursday.
Yeah. We'll find out. But yeah, on Thursday, 11:30 a.m. UK time, the 19th of February. But yeah, I think the fact that not, as I said, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, so 2 weeks from now, it is going to be Castellón against Santander. And when you think about it, one of them is going to drop points no matter what. Hopefully a draw or loss. I don't really mind. Well, it's one of the other. But that means Deportivo has to start being consistent now, because we've played very difficult teams in the schedule. And to be honest, even Castellón and Santander, Castellón have to go all the way to Las Palmas, even though, Las Palmas are doing really bad. And Santander host Burgos, but, Santander lost 2 of the last 3 games when you think about it. So I would say that, the top 2, I think they're going to start having tough, difficult games. And it's all about being consistent now. But for Deportivo, I do think we have to really start getting results, probably starting now, because I think we have a favorable run of games. So hopefully can get that and all with the next game.
Yeah, it's again for you guys. Like, if see the thing with, like I said, with La Liga 2, everyone's inconsistent. If Depor can kind of put a consistent run together, you'll get back to second pretty quickly. You'll get into those automatic spots, because I think teams around you guys are going to drop points as well. It's just whether you can capitalize on that. Like I said, I'm more confident of teams dropping points in your league than my league. Like, in La Liga 2, I think there's more of a chance of teams dropping more consistent points than there is in Serie B. So if you guys can get a consistent run, that can definitely get you guys back towards the top 2. But yeah, if
Real Madrid, Castilla are not.
Are they going to get promoted to the La Liga 2?
No, there's more chance of Lugo getting promoted in Group 1. I would say
that's mad.
But yeah, I think with the next game, which is against Eibar, the upcoming game on Saturday, 4:15 kickoff here. And actually, I looked at the weather. We've had storm after storm after storm, so it's been raining and raining. And today's not been raining, but it's just drizzle. But for the first time, we are going to have an entire weekend in the northwest of Spain. That's going to be sunny, from what the weather report is saying. Thank God.
In the UK, it's rained every day in 2026.
Yeah, it's the same in Spain. So I'm like, maybe the sun will start shining in Galicia. So, and obviously we play at home against Eibar. So, I would like to go to this game. Probably not eventually, but if I do, if I can, then sure. It's actually a good opportunity if I can. But yeah, against Eibar in the league, Eibar are getting close. I know they're like 6 points from 6th place, but Eibar, they've now started picking up a lot of form. The only thing is that I just don't think Real Madrid, Castilla are that good, I would say. But yeah, I do think that Eibar, they've had a very good run of form. I don't even think they lost a single game in 2026. So
by the way, with Eibar, that's the team that a lot of people know because of Messi.
Eibar man. maybe Sokoria could be Eibar man for this game, but obviously this was the team we played that we drew 1-1. And they scored in the last minute at their ground. So I do think that, maybe we can get a bit of revenge, who knows? But we have to start winning obviously winning every single game means we get automatic promotion. But this is a game whereby historically we do have a good record against them. The last 13 games against Eibar, Deportivo have only lost twice against Eibar, and the last time we lost to them was in the start of 2017. So doesn't really matter because that was like, Jesus, that's 9 years ago. 9 years ago.
Jesus.
So
Damn.
it makes me feel old, and it makes Messi feel old, you know. But I feel like with this game against Eibar, we have to get, we have to. I think this is a must-win, considering obviously, I mean, we won't be in the top two by the end of, even if we win and the top two lose both games this coming weekend. But I think this is a weekend we have to win, in order to get ourselves in the within touching distance of the top two, because you know the weekend after this, Castellón and Santander play each other in the 27th or 28th of February, I would say. Wait, in Group 1? Nah. What, in the third tier? You know, it's only first place that gets the automatic promotion, and that's going to be Tenerife. Tenerife's going to get automatic. And I'll be honest, I don't think Castilla will actually get promoted through the playoff. But I do think that this is where Deportivo have to start winning. And this is an important weekend because even after this game against Eibar, we play Sociedad B, who are still, as I see, winning. And then we play Granada at home. We play Ceuta away. We play Zaragoza.
It's a kind run of fixtures, that's for sure.
And then we have the quote-unquote derby against Sporting Gijón away. And that's, you know, till the end of March, basically. So, you know, we have
the question is, will the real derby return next season?
Well, I mean, I don't think they'll get relegated, but hopefully. And we'll see how they do. Because, I mean, they've been bad. Oh, they scored?
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah. Did Yamal miss a penalty in the first half?
Oh, I mean, I haven't seen. I don't even have it on.
I think Yamal missed a penalty.
Now I want to check La Liga.
You should hope Depor will be there next season.
Wait, what?
I said you should hope Depor will be there next season.
Oh, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully, Girona could hold on. And this is what I said to, like, okay, for Baran and all, I know it's a little bit off topic. I said Real Madrid could still win trophies by the end of the season, despite how shit you've been.
That's Madrid in a nutshell. That's Madrid in a nutshell. I've seen them be shit and win the UCL in the same season.
Yeah. So, and I'll be honest, as I said, I've repeated so many times and people don't believe me. Real Madrid are the only team in world football that can win a trophy, like maybe La Liga or Champions League, purely on talent. Not even with tactics. Purely on talent. You could just have Mbappe.
It's always been that way, hasn't it? It's just they just
and yeah, but in terms of the Eibar game, hopefully talent prevails for Deportivo. But you know,
this will be tough. They're unbeaten for it. They're on a good run, and obviously you guys struggle at home. So this could be a
at least we won the last home game. That's the good thing.
That's true. That's
against Albacete, which is, did Real Madrid do that? I'm not sure.
Beating Albacete isn't for everyone.
Yeah, but to be fair, Barcelona did beat them, but doesn't really matter because I mean it's 4-0 that after that first leg, but against Atleti. But I do think that overall against Eibar we have to, as I said, start winning and get the results to get Deportivo back into La Liga, I would say. Or at least the top two. Or, well, obviously we won't be in the top two even if we win and the top two lose their games. But the fact that in 2 weeks from now, they play each other, Castellón and Santander, this is a huge opportunity. This has to be...
It has to be a consistent run of games.
This has to be a win. This has to be a win. This one cannot accept a draw, I would say. So I'll go with Deportivo to win 2-1 and not keep a clean sheet. So 2-1.
Didn't they draw to you at their ground? And didn't they score in like the last minute or something?
Yeah, back in October. And that was before we lost to Malaga, I remember.
I'll be honest.
Before Malaga.
I think you're going to draw this game. I just don't. You guys are very unpredictable. Like with Depor, you just don't quite know what you're going to get. So, and obviously Eibar are on quite a good run. But I just think, I think you might draw. I don't trust you guys. Like you're very inconsistent. Like I don't know. So I just have to sit on the fence and say a draw. Like you could easily win this game, but you could easily lose. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying 1-1. 1-1. But it is, you're right. You got to be winning these games. Sure.
This has to be a win now.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I think you might draw. I do.
We'll see.
Like...
We'll see. Hopefully we don't, as in not lose, but like win, I would say. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it as well for Deportivo and Eibar, technically.
The question is, will either of us get promoted?
I mean, technically, let me just check before we end the show. What's the current result of the game now? Not the Barcelona, but the game Malaga and Sociedad B. I'll take a draw even in that game. I'll take a draw in that game. The Sociedad B Malaga that's happening now. 2-1. Okay. But how much time? Definitely not that. It should be a lot further ahead. Okay. They're in stoppage time with 2-1 for Sociedad B. So
great result.
And they're right now having a free kick, goal kick, Sociedad B. So it's actually this show, despite the loss, because we could have dropped down to 5th.
Listen, results somewhat around you have been favourable, apart from the teams above you.
Before Arbeloa got hired, we were 2 points off top 1, comfortably in top 2. They should have at least bought someone good. But even then, like, I do think Real Madrid, I mean, right now, at the moment, if Barcelona were to win, it's only 2 points. And if they
Baran, good luck against Benfica again. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
After what happened last time.
Yeah, I will find out. But yeah, so at least both of our teams are in 4th. But that's not automatic right now.
Yes. But both in 4th, both 4 points from the automatics. However, we have a much bigger cushion on the teams below us than you do. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, will we both get promoted? That is the question of this whole show. You know, that is why we're hoping that we're doing this show. So then, come the end of the season, we both celebrate promotion.
Yeah, even if both of our teams don't win trophies in
England. Yeah, man. Like we'll see, won't we? We'll see. Yeah, man. Look, as a Palermo fan, I don't want to be stuck in Serie B. That's for sure. Like, I just need Serie A back. We need it back. Like we as well. Like if Palermo get promoted, I'm invited to join. I've been invited to join the Tutto Calcio podcast with Gio. So if we get promoted, you know, you might see me on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that pretty much concludes everything. Big up to everybody that watched. Big up to Baran, Anthony in earlier as well. Big up to Dantrum, all of you guys that tuned in today. Please do subscribe to both channels. Of course, what's this? No Bellingham to fuck it up.
Oh yeah, true.
And then would you keep Inzaghi? Yeah, 100% I would. Because I know what you're going to say, that his record in Serie A isn't good. But I think with the right environment around him, I think he deserves another crack at it for sure. But yes, we have to get there first. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, no, even if I didn't want him to stay, he would stay. Like if he got us promoted, he would definitely stay for sure.
Or he just do what he did with Pisa, just
promote. But he left Pisa. He left Pisa because he fell out with the board because he weren't getting backed. And look at Pisa. I know they had Girardino and they've gone through a couple of managers this season, but like. Pisa weren't backing him. You're seeing how poor Pisa have been this season. You know, Palermo, he's been backed. He was backed in the summer. He was also backed in January. You know, if we get up, I have no doubt that we're going to back him. So, you know, he'll stay. And I'll be honest, right? Just quickly, even if we don't get promoted this season, which will obviously we'd be gutting and heartbreaking, I would 100% want to keep Inzaghi. 100%, because I think he'd definitely be the guy to do it next season if we didn't get promoted this season. So that just tells you how much I love Inzaghi. Like he's the guy. He's the guy. So we got to keep him. Get promotion or no promotion, we have to keep him. So yeah. Like I was saying, big up, guys, every single time. This is being streamed on both our channels, so please do subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday for Year of the Bird, where there'll be a lot to talk about. Of course, Spurs have a new interim in charge. Igor Tudor, of course, has recently managed in Serie A, so I do know quite a bit about him, which we will talk about. But yeah. Obviously, Newcastle play Man City yet again in the FA Cup. So, yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about there.
And
so
also doing a watch along for
Karabag.
The Azerbaijani Premier League.
Yeah,
not Azerbaijan Premier League watch along, but I meant
Newcastle.
Wednesday, I'll do a watch along, probably with True City fan extra, meaning Steve, basically. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, big up to Steve. Every single time. I think you guys win, to be honest. But
yeah, but I'll be honest. Like, why? It's Man City next, but Man
City and, yeah, we'll talk. Like I said, that's a story for Thursday, of course. But yeah, big up, guys. Every single time, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, and Sociedad B won against Malaga.
Great stuff.